Good morning, everyone. I think we can start now. Ma'am Laarni, are you ready?
Uh, yes. Can you hear me well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, to formally start our program for today, let me welcome everyone. Thank you for Okay, sorry, there was a technical error on our part. So again, let me welcome everyone for this morning. Oh, thank you for giving your time to listen to our talk for today. So the title of our event for today is Going Back to Basics, the Zero Waste Journey. So before we formally start, for the JCI members, let us recite the JCI Creed, JCI Mission and Vision. JCI Creed, we believe that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life, that the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nations, that economic justice can best be won by free men through free enterprise, that government should be of laws rather than of men, that Earth's great treasure lies in human personality, and that service to humanity is the best work of life. JCI mission to provide development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change. JCI vision to be the leading global network of young active citizens. Okay, so I'll give the floor to our project chairperson, Enister Santos. Annie, take it away.
Hey everyone, good morning. So today it's an exciting day na we'll be talking about how we can make a step, we can have an impact sa community natin, even sa world with the simple steps, with simple measures na isi-share sa atin ni Miss Laarni. So, I would like to introduce Miss Laarni Cancio. She is one of the co-founders of Back to Basics Eco Store. She is also the entrepreneur behind Simply Green and Natural Eco Shop, an online shop that offers products that support zero waste journeys, healthy lifestyle, and green beauty. She was a former bank executive who decided to leave the corporate world to focus on setting up and growing advocacy-driven businesses. So, good morning, Miss Laarni.
Good morning, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you our zero waste journey. I hope I'm clear to everyone. Hindi naman choppy.
Yes,
All
pa,
right.
clear.
Okay. Sure. So we can start.
Pa.
I,
Thank
I'll sh- I'll share my screen again. Mm. Ah, just wait ha. Ako naman yung nawala yung sinishare ko kanina. Wait lang. Here. There. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, pa.
All right, let's start. So we were requested by your association, your organization, to give a talk on how we can, amidst this pandemic we're in, there are a lot of waste generated, especially when it comes to disposable masks. So we want to share with you how we can reduce our waste in practical ways, so that we can all do our share in minimizing the waste na gawa nitong pandemic. Maybe we cannot do anything about the masks, but at least in our own little way, we can compensate kung ano man yung ganun kadami na waste na nag-generate ngayon this pandemic. So, just a disclaimer, we'll be mentioning business and organization names here other than Back to Basics. And names are purely for informational purposes only. They are not paid ads. And we don't have any intention of jeopardizing some businesses referred to in this presentation in relation to discussing possible and practical ways of minimizing waste. So no harm intended. I won't be dealing or delving on statistics because a lot of that information are provided in our newsfeed, in various social media, various social media outlets. So, but just allow me to go back to the evolution of the R's. If we're all familiar, I don't know kung inabot nyo pa yung teaching, we all started with the 3 R's. When I was younger, we were taught na there are 3 R's: to reduce, reuse, recycle, and then it evolved 5 R's, 7 R's. For all you know, baka mamaya 9 R's na, hindi lang din ako updated. So, but I don't know what are the other R's. But there, regardless of the number of R's, I think the goal of zero waste essentially is to minimize the residual waste. And by residual waste, hindi ito yung basurahan natin na nasa garbage ngayon. This is as much as possible, ito yung mga waste na talagang wala nang magawa. Diba? Kasi talagang output na talaga sila and hindi na sila mai-recycle and all. Okay. So, my zero waste, personally, my zero waste journey started with why. And I'm not sure if a lot of you are into the zero waste journey already or would want to start or starting. But whatever stage you are in, it is very important that we know our why, not only in the zero waste journey, but in everything that we do. But since we are focused on the zero waste journey, so the answer to your whys will be your anchor in going through this journey. So why is this journey important to you? Why do you want to take time to do it? And why even bother with the inconvenience when you can easily dispose trash like we used to, diba? Like nung bata tayo, just throw it. We think that we're a good citizen when we throw it in the proper garbage can, hindi ikakalat sa kalye. Because we're and let the garbage collector collect it, right? But now it's not the case. We have to level up our role as a good citizen. It's not just a matter of throwing it in the trash can. So why bother with that? Because zero waste journey is not an easy challenge. It is intentional. It is being mindful. So just a quick story on what even deepened my zero waste journey. When I was in the bank, working with a bank, not even before the zero waste hype, no, before even this zero waste groups were formed, etc. I think it was somewhere in 2005 to 2007. So we did a trash cleanup along the Navotas fishing port. So imagine mo, fishing port, dito ang daming fishermen, hina-harvest nila in the morning, yung ibebenta sa palengke. Pero katabi nun, totoo yung sinasabi ni Manny Villar, yung dagat ng basura. And as far as the horizon, talagang puro basura lang. And we were tasked, we were 300 volunteers at that time, and we were tasked that each of us would collect at least 3 sacks of waste from the shoreline. And some of us were even able to collect 5 to 10. And you guess what? Kung ano yung karamihan ng dinadakot naming basura doon. Sachets, coffee sachets, mga shampoo sachets, cutleries, napkins, disposable diapers, all of those things. Ang dami nun. And even after we're done with it, na feeling namin, after pagod na ang dami naming nagawa, pagtingin namin, it's as if wala kaming nagawa. So, ganun kalala. And that was even before, no? That was 2007. Imagine nyo na lang yun ngayon. And so it deepened my why because I was saying, even if I volunteered so much in here, it will not help so much. Whereas if it starts from me, from the source, actually, ideally, from the suppliers talaga. But we cannot just rant and then we just have to do what we can, what is within our control. So I said, it has to come from me. It has to start from me. And I cannot impose it on others. I can only encourage others and inspire them to do the same as what we're doing now. So that is the start of my zero waste journey. So we may all have different reasons. So I'm going directly on the pandemic activities that we're doing now. Jump na tayo kasi alam naman na natin lahat yung before pandemic and after. And we know that some of these things, or maybe a lot, for the food delivery, online shopping, and online groceries, we know that it produced a lot of waste, particularly plastic packaging. Okay? And even to a certain extent, food waste and food packaging. Sometimes kahit hindi naman yan plastic, but still cartons, it's still food, it's still waste. No? So we work from home, which is good. Somehow, good for our health kasi ma-avoid yung COVID. But at the same time, it reduces our carbon footprint, no? Yung pagpunta sa office. And some for the plantitos and plantitas who are into gardening. And good for you if you're able to plant the Bahay Kubo plants and do your own harvest. And by this time siguro marami na sa atin nakapag-clean, nakapag-declutter, no? The long overdue the cleaning, decluttering pre-pandemic time. So I'll focus my discussion because we're into doing practical. We're sharing practical ways on how we can reduce our waste. So I'll go first on the food delivery. Okay, food delivery. How do we reduce plastic and food waste? I'm sure yun ang marami siguro sa atin, maraming ito yung ginagawa. A lot of us are, I don't know if any of us will not have that app, no? The Grab food delivery or even Lalamove, anything that will bring us the food, no? That will conveniently bring the food to us. And because we are into different circumstances, I wouldn't say that food delivery is not valid at all, if only for the sake of reducing plastic and food waste. But as I've said, practicing zero waste is intentional, then maybe the way on my part, the way I think about is very, very enticing, the food deliveries, especially when there's a promo, get 100 off, get 30 pesos off, free shipping, di ba? Why not? Makakabawas ako, di ba? But then I rethink, would it be possible to do this occasionally instead of regularly? Why? Because you know already that if it's regular, then the trash becomes regular. But if it's occasion, of course, we all deserve that mental and emotional health that we get from celebrating milestones, na promote ka, your daughter graduated, right? All those occasions, it's your birthday, maybe it's time for you to have some bucket meal, etc. Those things, when done occasionally, because we're not doing hardcore zero waste, that talagang wala, no? Because we do not compromise our health, and that's not just physical health, but of course, mental and emotional health. So then after rethinking, okay, pwede naman pala occasionally. Second level is, can you cook at home instead? Of course, not all of us are into cooking, right? So iba-iba tayo ng situation. Yung iba hindi talaga marunong magluto, yung iba walang time, and some maybe talagang busy lang, di ba? But maybe for those, especially with the pandemic and work from home ka, maybe the time that you save from traveling, you can actually allot it from cooking. Is it something that like the Chicken Joy? Syempre iba pa rin ang lasa ng Chicken Joy, but maybe you can cook your own fried chicken because there's no occasion anyway. You can do that or substitute something. Wala akong chicken sa ref. About liempo, prito lang naman yan. Easily do it with oil, salt, and pepper, right? Okay, pero wala talaga. Hindi ako nakapag-grocery, wala akong meat dito. How about exploring? I don't know if a number of you would have experienced this, especially for those who live in subdivisions. When there's etong pandemic, specifically this pandemic, there are nearby offerings no, within the neighborhood. Meron po bang mga naka-experience yan sa inyo? Like in our case, in our subdivision, suddenly there's a marketplace. And doon nakita ko na, oh, I don't need to do deliveries pala. I save on delivery fee, the reducing carbon footprint kasi hindi kailangang mag-deliver. And nakatulong pa ako sa neighbor ko who probably kaya nag-resort sa ganong business kasi nawalan siya ng trabaho because of the pandemic, or maybe it's just their business and we're helping out, no? We help local industries. We support them. So kung meron. And another advantage of nearby offering from the neighbors, like personally in my case, I can ask my neighbor, can I bring over my container so that you can just put the ube cheese pandesal here in my lock and lock? Or so it's possible, right? Or I can tell them, can you just use an eco bag, yung damit na dyan, basta malinis, to deliver the vegetables, etc. And of course, some things are really inevitable. And if it's inevitable, then we refuse plastic packaging. We can say no to cutleries, the usual straws, and yung condiment packets, di ba, automatic nilalagay nila yon. But if you put in the request, probably baka meron ka naman ng ketchup and you don't need that. Kasi sachet pa rin yun di ba? So those little things, it matter actually. So we don't take for granted yung mga ganun, yung mga remarks. Because ngayon they provided, updated na yung mga ganyan, yung grab food, you put yung mga so put less in the plastic or do not put cutleries. So take time to do it. Okay, and that condiment talaga, isa yan sa pet peeve ko kasi pag minsan ang dami-dami pa and you have, may ketchup naman ako, hindi naman ganun kailangan ko, So there. So that's for the food delivery. How about if you're into cooking? Because I will go forward kasi i-explore natin, If you're, sometimes cooking can be daunting and overwhelming, especially kung sa mga hindi talaga marunong magluto or maraming ginagawa. It's time consuming, di ba? But our goal is to reduce food delivery whenever possible and make it occasional. And during this pandemic, I have observed that for as long as you have these pantry essentials, basic lang, kaya going back to basics, for as long as you have this cooking oil, flour, toyo, pati suka, asin, sugar, herbs, and spices, ang dami mo na pwedeng magawa dyan. It doesn't have to be a grand production, unless may handaan ka. But with that, you can actually cook by yourself. But of course, sabi mo, di naman ako pwedeng palaging prito lang ng prito. That's true. So sometimes, or palagi na lang yon. And there are ready-to-cook meals. When I was doing the grocery pre-pandemic, I'm not sure if you've encountered, si Monterey, meron siyang yung mga sisig, yung mga adobo flakes, ganon, may ready nakalagay yun sa microwavable container. Well, of course, it's still plastic, but somehow between a single use na nakalagay sa plastic na labo and that, you can still reuse the microwavable containers and actually donate it to recycling facilities later on. So these are things that you can explore. Yan, yung mga madaling magluto. When you're single, when you're adulting, okay? Or even if you're a mother na busy ka because you are busy with taking care of little ones, they take up most of your time. So there are options that you can consider. Of course, for processed foods, okay lang yan to minimize because I'm also promoting healthy lifestyle as much as possible. But if you're ready to up your games, the reason for this is because this pandemic, nung bangkera pa ako, even if gusto ko magluto, I don't have much time. Traffic pa lang, ubos na yung oras ko. Pagdating, pagod na ako. So, I'm bihirang-bihira akong magluto. So, but with the pandemic, and of course, and then I focus on the businesses instead, which gave me more flexible time. I was able to parang study, yung mga possibilities of cooking because nga I'm into the zero waste journey. Ano ba yung mga pwedeng gawin pala na pwedeng makabawa sa waste? Na sometimes we were conditioned to think that we need it. So a lot of things I've already done myself. it doesn't have to taste like the ano ba yun? And may mga sikat na tapa in Tocino. See, I don't even know the brands because I haven't been buying them for years. We make our own tapa Tocino. Before, I thought mahirap to kasi parang yung lasa, di ba? And then, thanks to YouTube, thanks to the internet, marami palang madaling recipe. Yung tipong andyan lang sa pantry ko, yung yung basic pantry staples na sinabi ko sa inyo, nandun lang lahat. For example, tapa, kailangan lang pala dyan ng kalamansi, sugar, toyo, ano yan, paminta, yung ganun lang. Simple lang, hindi siya yung tipong ano. Pero paano yun? Walang mga salitri. I don't put because yung mga preservatives na yun. And that's an advantage. Because if you do it naman, you're not going to sell it. It's for your family's consumption. And most likely, swerte na yan, natatagal pa yan next week. Personally, sa akin, within the week, I just plan for this week, tapa, the following week, tocino, the following week, longganisa. So, para walang sawa, parang ganon. And even daing na bangus, di ba, when you go to the grocery, vacuum pack pa yan. Ang ganda ng presentation. But it's even cheaper and you can even save more into plastic kasi naka-plastic yon. Pag bumili ako sa grocery, sa market, chances are this pandemic naka-plastic din. No? Before pre-pandemic, I give my own containers to my suki. But for now, hindi ko magawa yon because they deliver na nga lang. But just the same, if I need 3 bangus, isang supot lang yon. Versus dun sa grocery na vacuum pack, I need more, I have to buy 3 and ilang supot na yon plastic. So it's a matter of thinking kung saan mas makakabawas ng plastic waste. Quick to cook, adobo, yan. Kasi kahit matagal, mababawasan yung food waste. Hindi mabilis mapanis, sawa ka na, you can do adobo flakes the following morning. And before, I used to think that pancakes are hard to do. I buy yung premix. So that's additional plastic and box pa na carton packaging. I buy it. I used to buy it kasi para mabilis, kasi I just add egg and water. But then, sorry to say, hindi rin siya masarap for our family. And it's, pag yun ang ginawa kong breakfast or merienda, hindi masyadong pinapansin ng mga anak ko. So, and then I checked yung recipe ng pancakes, only to realize na it's not that hard at all because I usually, it's a pantry staple is flour, right? And it's not that hard at all to make the actual pancakes. It's even fluffier and tastier. From the usual pancake mix mo na ang dinadagdag mo lang water and egg, here dadagdag ka lang ng konting baking soda, milk, and sugar. That's it. And then you just follow yung kung ilang yung measurement and your pancake is even better than the premix. So you don't need to buy those. How about pasta, spaghetti? I was conditioned also to think that I need spaghetti sauce or I need tomato sauce. And, di ba, unless I buy it, the one in bottles, which is good kasi I can reuse the bottles. But the price of those in bottles are way too expensive compared to the one in pouches. But when when you have a budget constraint, okay, so the one in bottle becomes a treat. It becomes occasional. And if it has to every day because I will need to cook caldereta or sometimes spaghetti for me, I will have to settle to that pouch, the tomato sauce pouch, the spaghetti sauce pouch. Only to realize when I checked, when I really wanted, my family was craving for pasta that time, and I didn't have di pa ako naka-grocery, I didn't have the stock. I used fresh tomatoes, dinamihan ko lang. And that time, especially pag summer season, yung tomatoes, it was good. It was different. It tastes better. Coloring, hindi ko naman kailangan ng sobrang pula. In fact, the color is just right. There's no preservatives. So there. So, okay pala na hindi ka na rin bumili ng... So ngayon, hindi na rin ako bumibili ng tomato sauce and spaghetti sauce. Spaghetti sauce is just tomato sauce na nilagyan ng mga Italian spices, herbs and spices para maglasang spaghetti, yung usual na nilalagay. Para lang yun sa timpla-timpla. But, you know, the internet is there. You can always follow the ratio, no, the measurement, kung ilang pinch of these herbs, and then you have a spaghetti sauce. And of course, in fact, last summer, I was even able to do my own tomato sauce when hindi kasi relevant ngayon, but just in case, no, you might want to explore. Pag summer, especially siguro baka sa Laguna, baka mas mura, no? Here, I was able to buy it for as low as 20 pesos per kilo. And with that, I was able to take advantage of that. I bought several and then did my own tomato sauce and put it in glass jars, not new jars, just the glass jars that I repurposed from peanut butter, glass jars, and even canned them, preserve them. Supposedly, it can last me a year na hindi mag-expire. But of course, because medyo tomato sauce loving yung family ko, so mabilis din namin naubos. But for those times na stuck ko yon, I was able to save on cost and at the same time, so happy na walang tinatapon na pouch, oil pouch. And then stir fry veggies kung ano meron ka dyan. And this one, the fresh juice, fruits in season. So, bakit maraming soda bottles, no, na nandiyan? Because marami sa atin mahilig sa soft drinks, sa soda, or hindi lang soda, yung mga iced tea and all. So, it's one thing that we intentionally let go of, me and my husband, until nasanay na yung mga kids namin na they really don't need it. So, even if may handaan sa bahay before pandemic, we don't serve uh, iced tea, we don't serve those things. We only do fresh juice, fruits in season, whether may handaan or wala. So, we save on the packaging na, hindi na kailangan bumili nun. And kung mga ano yon, fruits yon, talagang maximize yon because pag na-squeeze mo na yon, yung lemon peels or calamansi peels, I use it to make my kitchen sparkly, my sink sparkling, no, and clean, and disinfecting it as well. Yung if you're into do it yourself, I even made yung a combination of vinegar and yung peeled calamansi, no, para I can make my own cleaning all-purpose cleaner for the kitchen. So maraming benefits of yung doing it yourself na noon I thought mahirap, so time consuming. I'm not saying hindi siya magko-consume ng time. But what I'm saying is it's not as time consuming as what we think it is. If you give it a try, if you just give it a try, maybe you'll relate what I'm talking about. You relate to what I'm talking about because yun nga, hindi siya ganon kahirap. Intentional, yes, kasi maghuhugas ka pa rin ng mga pinagtabasan mo, etc. But after that, the benefit is actually more to you and to the planet. Okay, some tips on reducing food waste that I've discovered. Baka lang yung iba, no? One of my issues before was yung mga green leafy vegetables when you buy. Of course, especially in pandemic, you don't buy daily, no? You stock up on it. And if we want the green leafy vegetables, my usual concern there was nabubulok ka agad even before ma-consume. And I've discovered, so kaka-surf and all, and kaka-experiment, I've discovered that, for example, for my basil leaves, for my lettuce leaves and all, for as long as hindi ko siya huhugasan bago ko ilagay sa ref. Pag hindi mo naman gagamitin pa, don't wash it. Pero concern, paano yun, pandemic? Di ba dapat lahat i-disinfect and all? It's really up to, kasi I air dry, of course, andun pa rin yung risk, but I use naman yung metakip, di ba? You put it in a lock and lock. So, kung may virus man na nandoon, nandun lang siya sa ref, nakatakip naman. So, wala siyang mai-infect na iba if the virus even gets to infect, no? Pag hindi sa live, sa human being. But there. So, I realized that pwedeng tumagal ng up to 2 weeks ang green leafy vegetables if you don't wash or rinse them before putting it in the fridge, the ref, and then just getting the amount you need, and that's the only time that you wash and cook it. So, isa yon. And then yung isa pa would be the ripe bananas. One of my problem before was when you buy a bunch of bananas kasi hindi ka naman bibili ng konti-konti lang. And sometimes naparami or minsan nagsawa, so may matitira. So before, nung hindi pa ako, zero waste na rin, pero isa to sa hindi ko masyado napapansin, natatapon lang yan. Yung basta overripe na, di ba? Kasi parang who would eat that anyway, an overripe banana? But then I realized that an overripe banana is precious when it comes to making your smoothies or even making your banana bread and cakes. But where do we store it? The moment na nakita ko na overripe na, yung hindi mo na makakain, hindi yung black lahat, but yung hindi mo na makakain kasi iba na talaga yung lasa. But there, I cut it into pieces and put it in repurposed zip pouches or microwavable containers or lock and lock. Ilalagay ko yon, so nilalagay ko sa freezer. And when you need to do smoothies, just get what you need, diretso sa blender mo, ang sarap ng smoothies mo. Use it as a base, kahit ano pang smoothie mo, strawberry, avocado, and all, put banana in it. Frozen banana, actually. So, yan. So, wag mong itapon yung overripe bananas. Try to use it also. And then the beeswax you have discovered or are using beeswax wraps. So, it's a natural alternative for plastic cling wraps, and even it's good for food storage. They also help keep our food stay fresh. Even the green leafy vegetables, pag kulang na ako sa mga lock and lock, I use our beeswax wraps to tag dito, to cover them and keep them fresh in the ref. And before, my daughter is into baking, no? Pag nagpaparay siya ng dough or pagbabalot ng bread, ang ginagamit niya before was cling wrap. Okay, yung plastic. But then when we discovered this, so we did not buy cling wraps anymore. We use the beeswax wraps to cover yung mga kailangan for the baking. So yung mga nagbe-bake diyan makaka-relate doon. So we use those things. So pero baka some of you would say, meron naman na yung corn-based cling wraps. Have you heard of it? Yung corn-based compostable cling wraps. So over that, of course, between a plastic cling wrap and something that is compostable, okay na rin yun. But if you can go further, you'll level up a bit. The beeswax wrap, pag nasira na yan ng konti, pwede pa rin i-reuse. Just put beeswax on it, parang painitin, parang ilagay sa oven or planchahin, and you may continue to use it until such time na sira-sira na yung cloth. Okay, so, and then you make even compost the cloth kasi if it's pure cotton. Okay, so that's the tip for reducing food waste. Now, of course, not everything not everything may, naman, parang nagagamit natin. We have what we call the scraps, right? So, the food scraps. Meron po ba sa inyong gumagawa na dito ng bokashi? Or even if it's not bokashi, composting. Anyone here doing composting? Okay. So, di ko makita na kung meron. But if ever meron, so that's really good to hear. This is one, this is really one way to reduce your household trash. Imagine nyo, di ba, pag kumakain kayo, may tira, may buto ng manok, may buto ng baboy, lahat yon, or pinagtabasan ng gulay, yung banana peelings, balat ng mga fruits, everything. What do you do with that? You put it in your waste. Even if naka-segregate, okay, you still have to put it in a plastic and wait for the garbage collector to collect it. And saan ba pupunta yon? It will be thrown in the landfill, and it will, even if compostable naman siya, but since it's not properly composted, it will produce methane gas. So one way to help divert this trash from the landfill is to do composting. And for me, I had no to bokashi and vermicomposting, but I'm not into vermicomposting. I'm not into worms. So if you are into that, okay lang din. But what I can share with you would be the bokashi. Okay, how do we, in brief, how do we do bokashi? Bokashi is like buro is like fermenting. It's practically fermenting your food scraps, so that it hastens the composting process with the help of effective microorganisms that you put on top of your scraps, your food scraps, and seal it. It's an anaerobic, meaning no air. So, but when you do composting for bokashi, hindi ito pwede dun sa mga medyo squeamish, no? Hindi siya mabaho. Pero hindi rin siya yung mabango. If you're familiar with the buro, no, it's sweet sour smell. So if you're not that if you're the type of individual na hindi ma-take yung ganong amoy, maybe bokashi is not for you. But if you are okay with that, hindi ka naman kasi siyang mabaho na amoy sobrang nabubulok. Hindi siya ganon. But then, hindi siya walang smell. So when you do that, you can do bokashi. And then, but the concern mostly ng mga gustong magbokashi, gustong mag-try nito, is where do I put it? Because after some time na i-ferment mo siya, you will have to bury it in soil, in between soil, layers of soil. So, concern ng mga nasa condominium or even if hindi condominium but limited space, no? Where will I put it? Okay, so swerte ng mga merong lot or those who can afford to buy a composting bin na may paglalagyan pa rin sa pwesto nila. But what if wala? And that is why Bokashi Pinoy and Green Space PH have provided a service, Book a Bucket. Just for your information, baka kasi interesado kayo to do Bokashi, but what limits you is the limited space you have at home. So the Green Space and Bokashi Pinoy, what they do is you do your home composting, and when it's filled to the brim, they call them, they will pick it up. And they have coordinated with various agricultural farmers so that they can do it there, no? So meron silang collaboration with the government or with some farmers who will now use your waste, bury it in soil, and use it as a compost. And as a result, magagamit yon. Hindi mo problema, wala kang tapon doon. Tapos, ibabalik lang nila sa'yo yung bucket mo, and then you do the same thing over and over. So, I, for one, when I started practicing Bokashi, probably 50% of our garbage nawala. And isang benefit na nakita ko pa doon is if nandun kayo sa subdivision or nakatira na, yung may mga stray dogs or cats, no, they don't have any reason na kalkalin yung basura nyo because wala kang food waste doon. At the same time, hindi ka mamamroblema if medyo matagal makarating yung garbage collector. Before, diba, if there's no garbage collector, it's a big problem because what will happen with your garbage, especially if there are plenty of food scraps there, chances are there will be maggots, right? Or it will stink. So that's why you really wait for the garbage collector. But here, in our case, even if it's a week or 2 weeks, we don't mind if hindi sila dumaan kaagad. They can even pass by here once a month and it's really no problem with us. So that's one advantages of doing food composting. And so as a personal experience, I'm sharing with you the Bokashi Pinoy experience. Okay. But not everything can be put in Bokashi. The used cooking oil cannot be put in your Bokashi compost. What do you do right now? Pwede ko bang malaman what do you do right now sa cooking oil ninyo? Pwede bang merong mag-chat? Sa ngayon, yung mga gamit na cooking oil, where do you usually put it? Tinatapon nyo lang ba sa drainage? Do you put it in the garbage can? Sa sink, yeah, di ba? And praying na hindi magbara or mag-clog yung sink mo and then you put, kasi I used to do that din lalo na kung konti lang naman, hindi magbara and then susundan ko ng hot water, yeah? But more often than not, in the future magbabara pa rin siya because it's there. And, nakaka-guilty kasi when I read more about this, hindi talaga healthy sa waterways natin, di ba? So, sorry, Mother Nature for that. So, we make amends. So, then we discovered RMC Oil and Eco Solutions. So, this company is a blessing to us because before kasi they just give their services to commercial establishments like the big restaurants like Jollibee, ganon. But now they've extended it to residential areas, so such as ours, no? So it's very easy to do it with them. You just collect in any PET bottle, something na hindi matatapon, no, pag kinuha nila. And then after that call, make an appointment with them, tell them it's ready for pickup. And then, ito yung available schedule nila. Okay, so ready for pickup. And then, they're very coordinated talaga sila. Sasabihin, okay, our pickup driver is there, almost there. So, yun lang. So, we schedule, kasi, di ba, how often ba ka naman makaka-collect ng used cooking oil? This has to be pure cooking oil. Hindi pwedeng haluan ng tubig, ha? So, how often do you do that? So, like in our case, every 2 to 3 months. If not 2 months, sometimes 3 months pa. No, but konti lang yon. And then later on, I'll explain to you something. What if konti lang yon? Paano yon? Dadaanan ba nila? Will they go to your place if it's just 'Di ba? Ang naipon mo lang konti lang, wala pang 1 liter. Is it worth their time? How about the carbon footprint? So we will have a few discussion of that later. So that's the RMC Oil and Eco Solutions. So you might want to check on their FB page and see if they service your area, no, in terms of pickup. Um, and just recently, this is not ano, I'm just sharing because this is share the zero waste approach, but I'm not recommending to anyone unless you are really into it or you've done your research. But I've noticed as an extraordinary approach to reducing zero waste is doing intermittent fasting and doing a low carb lifestyle. I haven't been into this for a long time. Actually, it's just almost 2 weeks. But I've noticed kasi that with intermittent fasting, that means you don't need to eat thrice a day. So twice a day feels okay. So that means lesser food preparation, especially for those who are living alone or adulting or who are very busy. Of course, I can't do this if there's a family and you have to feed your family, your kids, most especially. So you still need to do food preparation. But, to those na adulting, living alone, this is probably a good way to lessen your food preparation, no? And it has health benefits as well if done properly. And itong low carb lifestyle, I haven't been a fan really of, before no keto diet. By low carb diet, I'm not referring to keto diet. It's a low carb nutrient dense lifestyle, which I've just tried for almost 2 weeks pa lang. And I realized personally, because I'm a sweet tooth person, I can gobble a chunk of chocolate in one sitting. I can eat 3 scoops of ice cream in one sitting. Even if I have sore throat, I don't mind. And every time I eat lunch, breakfast, dessert, I need to have dessert. So I am really into sugar. So, and it's not that I don't have diabetes yet, but I don't want in the future to encounter that disease. So I read on this and I noticed that when I practice uh, doing low carb, by doing low carb, it doesn't mean a zero carb. I still eat, but I just choose the food that has low carb and is nutrient dense. So I noticed that my hunger pangs and even dessert cravings were dramatically reduced. So that in itself, ang laking bagay sa ano, I don't need to buy desserts. I don't need to do desserts because I don't have cravings for desserts anymore. There. Plus, of course, it's healthy. So I just mentioned that in passing. It's not, medyo malayo na siguro to sa zero waste. No? Okay. And then, online shopping, just quickly, I'll pass by. Of course, we're into Lazada, Shopee, and even the online groceries. When doing that, it's really, we cannot do away with this, no, because we cannot compromise our health, especially with this COVID, no. So we'd rather do online. So as much as possible to reduce our waste, if we can choose a one-stop shop wherein we can buy in bulk when capable, a shop that means it minimizes plastic packaging and even reuses packaging materials, and those that support local industries or communities, and they offer refill options. That being the case, since we've mentioned refill, please allow me a bit to mention something, just a few slides about Back to Basics Eco Store, because we're into the refilling business. It's not really more than just promoting the store. It's really to give you a window, an idea that these kinds of stores are already popping nationwide. So medyo marami na to. So for one, here we are a refillery eco store. We provide affordable and convenient access to home and personal care products without the unnecessary packaging. So as I've mentioned, zero waste journey is a challenge. No, it's not easy, but it is our objective, the Back to Basics Eco Store, to make your zero waste journey easy and convenient. Of course, that's relative, no, because it's never easy. It's never because you have to bring your own containers, wash your containers for reuse. So we have plenty of products in Back to Basics Eco Store. We have well curated set of quality and affordable home and personal care products. And one differentiating factor that we have is, instead of using new containers, we repurpose them as much as possible. We repurpose containers, gallons, plastic gallons for non-food, but for food, we only use glass sterilized glass jars and bottles that we repurpose. Like the wine bottles, hindi yan tatatapon. And some customers are actually donating to us their glass jars, yung mga nakikita nyo dyan, yung mga pinaglagyan ng sardines and all. We also support local industries, indigenous communities, and the small entrepreneurs who practice zero waste. So everything has to be aligned with the mission of the business. And given the pandemic, we are more into the home delivery service. So our customers can send their empty, clean bottles to us, or they can get our starter kits where we provide them the containers for a minimal charge. And then we fill them, we refill these containers. We use the tear method not to take away the weight of the container so that you only pay for the exact amount of the refill. No? And then we do batch deliveries every Tuesdays and Saturdays so that we minimize our carbon footprint as well. We are located at Maginhawa Street, Diliman, Quezon City. So we're in Quezon City and we can deliver anywhere in Metro Manila. But of course, mas may advantages yung mga taga Quezon City because we offer a flat delivery fee rate versus an actual delivery fee kapag outside Quezon City. But don't worry because marami naman later. So when we go back to basics, it's actually good for the pocket or the pocket kasi marami kang matitipid talaga because you only pay for the product itself. You don't need to pay for the container. Nakatipid ka na because you just pay for the product. But at the same time, na-repurpose mo yung container na otherwise matatapon pa, na-repurpose mo siya. So it's good for the people kasi yung iba, like yung nasabi natin kanina, kumbaga pwedeng healthy din sa'yo yun because there are no preservatives, yung mga food products and all. And of course, it's good for the planet because we divert these trash from the landfill. Okay. And there are other refillery stores cropping up. I don't know kung meron malapit sa inyo. So these are just some stores that we've compiled, no? Hindi kami bias. So pinresent ko yung Back to Basics Eco Store. But, there are a lot already doing refilling. However, though, not all of these or karamihan dito, most of the refilling would be limited to detergents, dishwashing, sanitizers, ganon. But with Back to Basics, one of our differentiating factors is we have food products, the essentials that can fill your pantry, what you need, no, to do basic cooking, to go back to basics. So, for refill. So, bili ka nga doon ng mantika sa suking tindahan mo sa Back to Basics Eco Store or from any of these stores. And of course, when wala talagang zero waste, it's just parang what we call our practice, our journey. But as I've mentioned earlier at the start, the goal of zero waste is to minimize the residual waste. So it's the residual, meron pa ring waste, no? But we want to go to that residual waste, those things that cannot be recycled. So what about those things na bibili ka pa rin? For example, still need dilata for, ano ba yung mga binibili sa dilata? For example, evap condense, still need that. So may dilata ka, what do you do with that? Okay, if you're not into the zero waste journey yet, the easier thing for you to do is throw it in the trash can and let the garbage collector collect it and let them do the rummaging through the trash and sila na bahala. Okay? But a step forward, if you are starting the zero waste journey, all these things na pwedeng, what we call them recyclable waste. What are these? Of course, the papers, yung mga scratch papers, yung kanina binabanggit ko na foil pouch. So if you think you'd still want to buy tomato sauce or anything that's in the pouch, why not? Sige, kung mas makakadali yun sa'yo. But the least you can do, wash it, clean it, dry it, and then compile, ipunin sila, and then donate it to these following recyclable waste facilities. So, like even yung milk, fresh milk, nasa carton. You need the all-purpose cream, nasa carton din yon. You have to wash them. You have to take time to wash them, to wash and clean them, and let them dry. And then, ipunin, set aside a space in your place so that you can accumulate, let's say, in a month's time, and coordinate with these various organizations that collaborate with recycling facilities. So we have the Plastic Flamingo, the Trash Panda, Green Haven, we have the Humble Sustainability, and there's even the SM Malls for their plastic waste collection program. And I think even Ayala Malls would have that now in coordination with the Plastic Credit Exchange. So if you haven't tried any of this, you can follow their Facebook accounts and you can check the details now on how to coordinate with them. It's just a matter of sending them a message and scheduling them. Here, yung Trash Panda has an app. Okay? You pay all of this, itong mga nabanggit ko, free ang pick up niya. Free. Actually, Green Haven, free ang pick up. Humble Sustainability, free ang pick up. Plastic Flamingo and Plastic Waste Collection Program, ikaw ang magda-draft off doon sa mga pick-up points nila. And Trash Panda, you pay for the service of collection. For my experience, around pag mga 8 kilos or 9, below 10 kilos, nasa 150 pesos in our case. And then pag 10 kilos, nasa 200 pesos. Parang ganon. But there's a cashback here. I've just started with Trash Panda. I've tried. So wala pa akong cashback. But they said that whenever yung na-turnover nila sa recycling waste facility has been converted to cash, I get a share of that. Okay, I'm not really much into the share, the cash. I'm sure it's very small. But what the more I'm after is yung ma-recycle, ma-recover, no? The recoverable waste so that hindi siya pupunta sa landfill. And one of the things I want to share is for you to explore being an eco champion. In our subdivision, even before this pandemic or even I've been an eco champion, a self-proclaimed eco champion. Why self-proclaimed? Because I don't announce naman to my neighbors, hey, look, let's do zero waste. Let's be more conscious of our waste. I don't do that. But what I do is post in our Facebook group or coordinate. Nung hindi pa pandemic, nung wala pang Facebook group, I coordinated with our village association to initiate activities that will raise awareness on zero waste living. So before, pre-pandemic, I have coordinated with Green Heart before so that they can teach us how to do bokashi. That's when I started doing bokashi. So they taught our village to do that. And then, yun. So some of our villagers are into bokashi composting. So I did not tell them to do it, but because there was a talk, they were encouraged to do it. And then for the recycling of the waste, I mentioned to them, I'm going to coordinate with Green Haven. I'm collecting my trash, recyclable trash. Would you like to join me in this initiative? You can just give it to my place. The collection is, let's say, this Saturday. Just give it to me this Saturday. Bring it over my place and make sure lang that it's clean and dry and washed. So it's no pressure, encouraging them. And I'm happy to know that a lot of them have participated and did their share of cleaning, no, the trash. And of course, how about the cooking oil? I'm collecting cooking oil. So kanina sabi ko, dadaan ba sila? Ideally, sabi ni RMC, is ideally at least 5 liters. But I cannot connect, in my household, I cannot collect 5 liters in a month or 2, even 3 months. Okay, so I've coordinated, I've invited my neighbors to join me in this effort. Collect your cooking oil, makakabawas sa barado, sa bara, sa sink sa bahay, and we're doing Mother Earth a favor, no? And it's also for our benefit. So they collected and voila, mas marami kami na collect and it's worth the while for RMC Oil to pick up our used cooking oil. And this is on a regular basis. So in my own initiative, kesa matagal pa, nadadaan pa dun sa association, sila yung may parang bureaucracy and all, I do it. Ako nang bahala parang without forcing anyone na, okay, you do this. I just announce, and then I give them an update. It's been picked up, and ganito. So, and then the benefits, so maybe, especially you're an organization, I'm sure you have initiated quite a lot, but in your own way as an individual, influencing others, if you live in a subdivision or if you have a group, Viber community, FB community, that you can inspire or encourage to practice the zero waste journey in various ways, then it's a welcome initiative. So we inspire others, we set the examples, we make it easy for them, and we handhold them. So until such time that they themselves are also eco champions. So it's a ripple effect. And just a quick checklist because I'm sure nung nauso to mga to, baka most of you have tumbler cup, reusables, tumbler cups, straws, cutleries, eco bags. For the ladies, have you switched to washable menstrual pads, cups, cloth diapers for those with babies, and hankies? Ibalik ang hankies. I used to before hindi pwede pawala ng tissue, 'di ba? But then when I was made more aware of what zero waste journey is about, I went back to my good old hanky. And table napkins, I haven't been buying for years as well. Di ko lang nag-ready dito pati yung cotton rounds. Table napkins, mas mura yon actually. Kumbaga, it saves you money. It's good on your pocket. Washable siya, madali lang naman, ibabad mo lang, pwede rin sa washing machine, isang laba lang. And even kitchen towels and cloth sponges, no, reusable. Kesa yung sponge na plastic, no, there are sponges already that you can wash or meron din namang sponges na compostable, no, like using loofah and natural sponges. Iki pa kasi pag yung, 'di ba, yung yellow and green, pag madumi na, 'di ba? Tapos ilan lang, every month you have to change. Imagine niyo 'yon. But with cloth sponges, you can wash and it can last for up to 2 years if you take good care of it. So our view for compostables, have you done bamboo toothbrush, beeswax wrap, plantable pencils, wooded cotton, and craft paper tapes? Okay, a bit expensive, but yeah, kahit pa paano, tape pa rin yan, plastic pa rin yan, no? And for those, the mothers, no, or expecting, breastfeeding is a lot, uh, uh, way to go for being zero waste. Ang dami mo nang matitipid, ilang lata yon na hindi ka bibili, hindi sakitin si baby, so you don't need lots of medicines pag nagkakasakit siya. Package free, of course, andyan na lahat ng mga bar, shampoo, conditioner, deo bars, and all. Refillables. I'm not sure if all of you are practicing this na the refillable ball pen. I'm that type of person before na mahilig sa magagandang ball pen, mahilig sa mga stationaries, gano'n. And I had to let go of those things for the sake of zero waste. So I just all go so parang titingin lang ako minsan sa Shopee, ang gandang tingnan ng mga to. But I settled for a reusable ball pen wherein refillable siya. So I've been buying refillable pens. It's not as pretty as I would want it to be, but it's functional and I just need to change yung bala. So plastic pa rin, but between throwing away ball pen every time na ganito, so I just need to ipunin ko nga lang actually, hindi ko pa tinatapon yung mga bala so that isang tapunan lang. So but yeah, it's very convenient and very practical, time saving. Because I attempted what's that? Yung fountain pen. I was not successful. And they said there's also an addiction factor to it. So it's a good thing probably God told me na hindi bagay yan sa'yo kasi baka ma-addict ka pa. So there. So I settled for a refillable pen. Razor 2. So blade, I forced my husband to go back to the traditional razor wherein he just has to change blades. Okay, please don't get me wrong. Sabi ko, zero waste, there's no forcing. We encourage. But since husband ko naman siya, dinaan ko lang din kunyari sa encourage. May encouraging part, but of course, wala naman siyang choice kasi ako yung bibili. Okay? Especially ngayong pandemic, ako nag-grocery. So, there. So, iba yon. Please paki-iba yon ha. But with others na hindi nyo, na hindi ganon, hindi kabiyak. No, hindi, I don't do that. Okay. Okay, and then there's tooth powder, refillable. If you haven't tried that, Zero Basics offer that, or even deodorant and even facial wash. So, ma'am, I think I've missed some other things, but those are just checklists. Baka lang kasi meron pa kayong hindi na-discover, no, na okay, there's also cotton rounds, no, for cleaning the face. So before I used to buy cottons, yung nasa plastic. Ngayon, ang cotton namin ngayon is only for the first aid kit. But we don't have cottons na for cleaning our face. So I use the cotton rounds, nilalaban lang yun palagi. So that's been going on for 2 years na rin that I haven't been buying that. So those are some options. Other zero waste ideas, especially malapit ng Pasko, gifting. Of course, it's always a welcome treat when you see that there's an effort to upcycle gift wrappers and even tags, no? So, but of course, it would be better, may ano yan, shameless plugging ng Back to Basics Eca Store, if the wrapper itself can be used by the receiver, such as a pouch or yun yung canister or yung condiment crate there. So, and then experience. Those are just some of the ideas, but I'm just saying na especially na it's Christmas season, to be more mindful of our gifting, no? And not just to be able na para lang masabi that we are able to give gifts. It's not about the price tag. It's about being mindful as well. And this is my second to the last slide. So I guess staying healthy, especially this time of pandemic, will is also a way of reducing waste because there's no need for medicines and other medical paraphernalia. Hospital doesn't need to use medical resources on us. If we are healthy, if we stay indoors, stay safe, stay healthy. And of course, it helps us to be more focused, mindful, and intentional. So I wish everyone to be staying healthy and to keep safe always. So on behalf of Back to Basics Eco Store, those are the 5 founders. So lima kami, we're 5 women. So we are committed to helping you in your zero waste journey. We try as much as possible. It is our commitment to make your journey, zero waste journey, easier for you. So thank you very much for this opportunity of sharing to your organization. Have a good morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Larnie. And since most of us, I think, is bago pa lang sa idea of zero waste,
Okay.
baka may mga questions din sila. Pero
Yes.
for me, siguro ma'am, for yung mga bottle ng water, yung mga Wilkins,
Mhm.
what are the things na pwede natin gawin for that?
Okay. So definitely don't use it for putting food, no? So yung mga ganong PET bottles, because chemicals leach, no? So that's why at Back to Basics Eco Store, we only use that for refilling detergents, no? Na gagamitin mo rin kaagad. So the things that you can do, number one, if you're going to collect used cooking oil, you can use that para mailagay mo yung cooking oil doon. That's one. Second, kung talagang wala ka ng paggagamitan doon, pwede namang, yung iba pala, before pa i-donate, yung if you're into planting, pagtataniman, di ba, yung ginugupit, pwedeng convert it into pots. But if you're not any of those, hindi ka mahilig sa halaman or wala kang time, or you can just coordinate with yung mga organizations that I mentioned, the PLAF, the yung mga donate dun sa mga SM malls, no? They have there yung facility that will accept those trash. Basta just make sure they are clean. You don't need to make it by clean, it doesn't mean na parang sobrang ginastosan mo siya ng mga detergent and all. I do batch cleaning actually, di ba? So parang lagay lang mo na, so may lalagyan ka. I heard that isang linisan lang yan para tipid sa sabon at tubig, di ba? Then tuyo, dry. Especially pag umaaraw, I just air dry them. And then donate doon sa mga, so you may coordinate with the Plastic Flamingo, Green Haven. Marami na rin naman ang parang, hindi lang sa Metro Manila ang coverage nila. So those things, yung mga binigay ko, yan, very active sila in collection, waste collection. Of course, it takes effort to set them aside muna, no? And a small space in your house. Ako like meron kaming box. Ito yung ito yung 4 cartons, gano'n. So meron naka-allot.
Thank you, Ma'am Arnie. And for pala, di ba before, parang 2 years ago, naging projects ng students yung mga eco bricks na bottles, fill mo ng mga plastic waste. Ano pa rin ba siya? Like, okay pa rin ba siyang practice ngayon? Or masyado ba siyang time consuming for us to do since yung mga students may time noon? I'm not sure kung pwede sa aming mga young professionals na may mga work then.
Okay. The eco brick is actually a last resort. No? If you're into the zero waste, hanggat maaari, hindi yan ang gusto mo sanang approach. Parang last resort na lang yan para lang hindi kumalat yung plastic. But most of the things that you put in the eco brick can be donated to the recycling facilities I've mentioned. Like, for example, chips. Di ba? Bibili ng chips. Much as I want to promote healthy living, my kids would want chips at least once a month. So, I indulge them. So, pero ang gagawin ko pagkatapos doon, no? So, we can clean it as usual and dry and then donate. Pwede mong diretso nang i-donate. Kasi ikaw pa, kasi pwede naman, ikaw gumupot gupit, ganyan. Tapos, mas ano din yon. Tapos, kaya lang kasi, pag ginawa mo yung eco brick na yun, meron yung standards eh. And if it doesn't fit the standard, meron lang konting moist, may space pa, hindi maayos yung pagkakagupit na ang lalaki, ganon. Tapos yung weight, reject siya kaagad. 'Di ba, nare-reject. So, parang sayang lang din minsan yung effort mo if hindi ka in accordance to the standards set by those that accept eco bricks. So, between that versus eto na naka-segregate lang. May segregation process lang naman. So, ito yung PET bottles, ito yung cans, yung tin cans, yung aluminum, yung gano'n. I-segregate mo lang 'yon and then when they go to you, nagpa-pick up ka, they know naman na and in fact, kung may mali kang segregation, ah, iko-correct ka hindi naman, ano, but they will ask you, and they will explain why, ba't magkahiwalay. Like, meron ako isang mali akala ko no'n so may plastic foil, I use a plastic foil, tapos sinama ko siya sa tin can. So, 'cause I thought kala ko parang pareho lang puwede na 'no, kasi para mabawasan din yung grouping ko. And then they mentioned, "No, it's not. It's different." So you group the aluminum foil separately. So ano daw yung sabi niya, yung mga ano, yung mga sa mga food deliveries, yung mga, pinaglagyan ng pasta, ganyan. 'Di ba yung 'pag yung may handaan yung foil na ano niyo, na-disclose. Sabi ko, "But I don't have that 'cause bihira kaming magpa-food deliver." So, yoon. Pero sabi niya, if you have that, especially kung may handaan kayo and all, kunyari after pandemic, I'm sure food delivery yon. So, take note, you just wash it and all. You can donate that to the recycling kesa itatapon lang siya. So, 'yan. So, last resort mo na yung eco brick. Instead of ano, itabi mo na lang siya and then group them according to kung anong klaseng waste siya. So, foil, ang tawag nila dun sa mga chips, plastic foil. So, parang may plastic siya sa labas pero foil siya sa loob. And that would be the same for some candies, 'di ba? Ganun.
Thank you po. Thank you, Ms. Arnie. It's really wonderful na nagkakaroon ng ganitong talks kasi simula nung nag-pandemic, napansin ko din na yung basura namin, hindi lang doble, triple.
Yeah. Oo.
Lahat naka-pouch, ganyan.
Yes,
So,
oo.
ako mismo, nag-worry na, paano ba 'to? Ano bang ano?
Yeah.
Thank you po. Thank you for enlightening us sa kung ano yung mga pwede naming maging first steps into reducing our waste.
Yeah. So, I hope one way or another, this has helped you know, my inputs. You're free to message me anytime if you want. I can even give you the materials if you want so that you can refer yung mga nilagay ko doon na resource ano resource organizations no that you need to get in touch with. Especially kunyari sa organization nyo, kung meron kayo, 'di ba, and magkakalapit. Maybe no, you can come up with something a collaboration will do for that.
Mhm.
Kasi iba rin pag collective yung effort eh. And as I mentioned, you can be an eco champion, a self-declared eco champion within your vicinity or within your own group. So, it's a step-by-step process. Ako din no'n akala ko zero waste na ako, 'di pa pala. I mean, sabi nga nila, zero waste is more of progress rather than perfection. So don't feel bad if you think na ang dami pong ano, like ako nga no'n 'di ba, yung cooking oil, 'di ba? Pero now naka-discover, so at least 'di ba? So and then we help each other kung may na-discover ka, so we share. So that's why we're also happy that there are organizations like you who are willing to uh, have us no to share our experiences and this. Meron pa pong tanong?
If anyone has questions po, open ang floor natin.
Yeah, so meron.
So, I think walang questions masyado. But as Ma'am Larnie said, pwede natin siyang ma-reach sa different social media platforms. And of course, let me formally present this certificate of appreciation to her. The citation says, this certificate of appreciation, Junior Chamber International San Pablo Seven Lakes, hereby present Laarni Cancio this certificate of appreciation for being a speaker in the Zoom event titled Going Back to Basics, the Zero Waste Journey. Presented this 31st day of August 2021, we express our sincere we shall be sending the signed copy of this certificate to you, Ma'am Laarni. So
Thank you.
thank you very much po.
Thank you. Thank you also for your time. Thank you for listening. Salamat. And feel free anytime to reach out to us, any of us, all of us at Back to Basics, or we'll be able to help you na kung may tanong man kayo, just PM us, send us a message through our FB page and IG. Follow them na rin if okay with you. So there. Okay? Anything else?
Request lang po. So may request everyone to please turn on their cameras. Group pic tayo. So we can have a documentation for the program we had today.
Yan, para
Just
makita ko naman
waiting
yung
for
mga
others to turn on their
mga-
cameras. Yeah.
the beautiful and handsome faces of JCI. So, San Pablo talaga yung sa Salix, doon ang location nyo.
Mhm.
Tama ba? Because I like that place eh.
Yes po, ma'am. Sana ma'am, after this pandemic, you can visit. Message nyo lang kami ni Annie.
Sure. Sige, oo
So
nga eh.
we can show you around.
Yeah, I love that place. Alam mo yun,
So
ano
I
yun?
think others aren't the lake and everything else. Okay, so may I request for us to do the August hand sign for the official reporting of this program. So the hand sign for August is this. So it's a high five sign. Pa-hand sign na lang po. Wait. Okay. 1, 2, another one. Wait. Okay. 1, 2. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
All
Thank
right.
you po. Thank you.
Thank you po, ma'am.
You're welcome anytime. Thank you then for your time. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Everyone.